How's it going, YouTube? Welcome back. In today's videos, we're actually going to do an update video on the current build I'm running on my main account. If you didn't know, I used to run first strike in almost all my games I played because it was so strong into the mid to late game. But we're actually having a pretty big issue. The games are ending way too fast. So I'm swapping my build almost nearly every game to this new Comet build. So let's get into it. So we actually swapped back to the Comet tree. If you notice, we are running Comet, Manaflone, Absolute Focus, and Gathering Storm. Before we get into the Domination tree, let me emphasize, if you're playing mid or an APC, I would run Gathering Storm. But if you are playing support Xerath, I would run Scorch. Now as for my secondary, I would normally run Dematerializer or like Presence of Mind and Coup de Grace, but honestly, I've been finding more success in running the Domination tree with Cheap Shot and Ultimate Hunter. So the reason we're running Cheap Shot is, of course, we can constantly proc it with our stun and our W, and you would just follow up with your Q. And the shorter cooldown of your ultimates is just having more of an impact with your ultimate because you're able to use it more often. This stays the same. Definitely run the attack speed if you are having trouble CSing. But if you are supporting or you are a confident CSer, you can of course run double adaptive. For the last one, it is of course if you're playing mid and you're facing a magic heavy team or you're facing a AP mid laner, you want to go MR. If you're playing in the bot lane, you're facing majority AD, of course go armor. So to get into the items, if you know before, I used to have two different builds in my previous guide on what I used to run on Xerath, depending on how tanky they were and stuff like that. Honestly, like I said, with how fast the games have been ending, I think I'm going to prioritize probably the squishy build, unless you just have like 3 bruisers. I think majority of the time I am going to be running the squishy build. So the squishy build is Luden's, Shadow Flame, Death Cap, Voice Staff, and Horizon Focus. If they are just quite literally just have 3 bruisers and or they're stacking MR quite early, you can of course take away Shadow Flame, put in Void Staff, so it would be Luden's, Void Staff, Death Cap, Horizon Focus, and as for the last item, you can of course go defensive, go Revitalize, more utility focus like Morello, or have Mage Eyes somewhere in there. So I just want to give an example. Since with these new runes as Xerath, you are running cheap swap, so we do need to make sure we're utilizing our W combo, meaning that you do want to make sure you're utilizing the W then Q or E then Q to proc the cheap shot. But if you notice that, like, of course I missed a stun right here, but like, you can play a lot more aggressive, not only with the pike, but you can be a lot more aggressive in these lanes compared to first strike. A lot of times when I'm playing first strike, I would emphasize that like you really just want to focus on kind of farming, but I kind of swapped up my playstyle and highlighting being more aggressive, taking more aggressive pokes. You do want to make sure that with Comet, you're only harassing when Comet is off cooldown. So a lot of times what I'm doing is literally throwing out my WQ combo, using an auto attack to get my mana back on a minion, and just waiting for the cooldown to come back up. And you're just constantly doing that every single time, waiting for Comet to come off cooldown. Alright, thanks for watching, guys. Big shout out to Andres Texas for coming to me with this build with Xerath. Like I said, I will be running this build every single game in rank, probably from here on out until, depending on what comes out next patch. If there's any other updates on the guide, I will make another video letting you guys know what I'm doing and if I'm building anything different. I do hope you guys enjoyed. If there's anything I can do to improve these videos, please let me know. I am of course trying to improve myself to make these videos a lot better quality. But I hope to see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.